Hi everybody, this is Kevin and welcome back to another manga review. And today I will be sharing my thoughts on Monster Soul Volume 1 from Hiro Mashima as part of my Halloween month review series. Now, this was a 2-volume miniseries that Mashima worked on between 2006 and 2007 as Fairy Tail is being published. So again, just proving how this dude is a complete workhorse. I mean, there was a meme a few years back when he was working on 3 projects at once between Eden Zero, doing the storyboards for Fairy Tail 100-Year Quest, and then Mashima Heroes, the big crossover between Rave Master, Fairy Tail, and Eden Zero. So the guy never takes a break, and he did this as a parody to the classic monster franchises, the way he modeled his characters, and you also see the references to his past and present characters, which I'll show you as I turn the book around, so you get a better look at the main cast here. The main, well, 4, although 5 characters if you count the mascot. And we have Toran, who is a sand golem, and basically a brunette Lucy. We have Aki, who transforms into a dire wolf, which essentially is a werewolf. And I mean, he looks like Shiki right here, although he acts like Natsu. We have Mummy, who is literally a mummy. Although I was looking online, there's different translations for them, and one of the translations online is like Mammy, or Mommy almost, because it's Mammi, although in here it's spelled mummy, so I don't know. But her powers are that, she's a freaking mummy. And then in the background there, James, who is modeled after a Frankenstein monster, and then the mascot, Jabba. And it was a fun little parody series, and definitely interesting to see how a lot of the way these characters act are modeled after characters that I just mentioned from his previous works. And, it was fun. So let's dive right into it. Some good stuff. This gives you the lowdown of each character and their powers. Like I said, look at the resemblance between. You're telling me that's not Lucy, and that's a mix between like Urza and Julia right there. Julia from Rave Master, and that's totally Shiki. I'm just pointing it out. And then with the other monsters, you have this dude who's a wizard named Bacon. This is the big bad of this volume. Guru Elf, who is a chimera, and then the Vulcan brothers, who are after the monsters. There's, the humans and the monsters, and these dorks are monsters that want to coexist with the humans, because of course they do, and they're all about having a good time, and the importance of family and friendship, the power of friendship, which for some reason people don't like that. So it starts right away with the poachers capturing this little guy, Jabba, who is their friend, and he shows up, and they're like, oh, he's got a crazy bounty, and he makes the funny face, like, just acting like Natsu, almost with the flame in his tongue. How many times have we seen Natsu do that before? And they all show up and fight him, and you have Toran, who they call Tora, I'll refer to her as Tora, who uses the sand to distract him, and then James shows up, and then Mummy wraps them all up. And as they're being attacked, they remember the bounties, although it describes them as being more menacing than they really look. Like, that's supposed to be Aki right there, the skull dude, and there's Mummy. But, she's a sexy beast right there, isn't she? And they're like, oh, we should go and capture them and get a fine bounty. So they're celebrating. And this is a running gag that happens with James because he's a Frankenstein monster. His face falls off. And look at Mummy. Your face! Oh! Freaking hilarious, man. So, and then Mummy has this thing similar to Greg from Fairy Tail. I need to strip. No, don't strip in front of us. It's embarrassing. So I was cracking up reading this and just knowing what I know about Masha's other characters. And this, too. This is similar to Rave. There's a lot of characters in Rave that have, like, these these weird faces. Like, you get the moon flying away. So. Oh, and they mentioned Plo, too. Plo, the mascot of Rave Master, who also appears in Fairy Tail and Eden Zero. So, what happens is Tora gets captured by those poachers we just saw, and that really pisses them off, because it's like, no, we gotta protect our friends. So you see the menacing faces, the veins. Like, how the hell is James getting veins in his face? But this is like a classic Mashima panel that he's done in many of his series with the good guys getting ready to save their friends. And because Tora is a sand golem, she was able to, use her abilities to make a, path for them to follow. But they start torturing her in this pretty gruesome scene where they're burning her. And they show up and save the day. And we get like a cute little wink. Like, I swear to God, every time I saw Tora do something like this, I'm like, that's Lucy right there, man. It's Lucy. Oh. So Aki goes no holds barred, takes off his hood. You see he's wearing a hood, and that was to hide that he has these little horns, right? And he's able to transform into a dire wolf. And that's exactly what he does. And again, like, look at that illustration there of this, it's a werewolf, but it's a dire wolf. And they start attacking. And he's called an S-type monster, which pays homage to fairy tale and S-type wizards. Like, Urza, Mirajane, Loxus, Gildarts, Mystigan, etc., etc. So he saves the day, saves Tora, and they make their way back. And that's the end of the first chapter. And again, he gets the Plu down, but it's not really Plu. And again, a funny face from his Rave Master days. And here's some failed characters, which is cool to see those sketches. So they start having an arm wrestling contest here, and Aki's losing to James, right? So he transforms so he can beat him, and it's like, that's not fair! And again, James lost his face, and Java's carrying it around. So they're talking about how they want to find a fairy, and Tora's saying, oh, I'm the beautiful fairy. And they're thinking of the fairy from, like, Zelda Ocarina of Time, like the really ugly-looking fairy. Not that fairy, but they see this fairy. And they end up seeing this rally here where this dude named Bacon, this wizard, wants to destroy all the humans because, well, the humans attacked the monsters many years ago in this great war, and they want revenge. And it's like, well, maybe the humans were bad, but not all humans are bad. And Aki breaks his flag, and that gets them all pissed off, and they start fighting. And then with this fairy, they meet her daughter, who is trapped in this cell. Her name is Jenny, and James falls in love with her because, she is pretty hot, isn't she? And they decide to rescue her, and they all want peace. But, the evil Bacon guy wants to kill all the humans. So again, we get this great pose, and again, just the character design. I love the character design. So cool seeing that. And he transforms into a dire wolf again, and they use all their attacks, like, because he's a Frankenstein monster, he shoots his arms as like cannons or whatever. Oh, and Mummy had like this syringe that she was carrying. That's like her secret weapon. And I think she's the one who uses it at the end to stop Bacon from his evil plan. Yeah, there's James' fists again. So, you got some cool attacks and all that. And Jenny's reunited with her mother. And it turns out he was just casting a spell to, have the people listen to him. And that's the other thing, too, like a running gag with Aki is when he does his transformation, after he's done, he falls asleep. So they agreed to stop. And at the end there, he says that Guru Elf is looking for souls, and he wants Aki's soul. So here's some words. This reminds me of Tauros from Fairy Tail. I love boobies. Because if you know anything about Fairy Tail, that's what he's all about. Miss Lucy. So we get a flashback here. And if you notice, too, I really didn't mention this, but let me show you right here. So if you see with Mummy here, one eye is gone, and then we get a flashback here. You see both her eyes, and this again harkens back to Urza's backstory, And Aki got his ass beat by Guru Elf years and years ago, and that was a bad dream. She was having a nightmare about the past, and Mummy wakes up and is like, "What is going on here?" And they drew on Tora's face. So they're having their wacky shenanigans there, and Guru Elf is terrorizing the humans. Wants a drink. They won't give him a drink. They're like, "We don't serve your kind here, boy." and he knocks him out and has a drink for himself anyway. And then Mummy shows up and says, you know, leave us alone, would you? Where's that kid Aki? So Mummy decides to battle him so that Aki doesn't have to. And Tora spills the beans and says, you know, because they're like, where'd Mummy go? Oh, she went to fight Guru Elf. What do you mean? I'm gonna murder him! Again, this is like Natsu. And this is the past. They're friends forever here, you know, like as they're little kids. And this is when Guru Elf was fighting Aki, and Mummy, you know, decided to give her soul to Guru Elf instead, and she said, you know, her soul was her eye. That's why she lost her eye there, which is, you know, reminiscent to Urza from the Tower of Heaven arc and the Backstreet of Jalal and all that. And also, even going further ahead with Eden Zero, with Elsie, you know, she's missing an eye as well. And she also looks like Urza, right? So I thought that was pretty cool. And he transforms into the Dire Elf, starts battling Guru Elf. Guru Elf, right? The Dire Wolf. I'm getting the names all fucked up because, God, there's so many different characters in all of Mashima's works that it is hard to keep up with it. And when I see a character, I keep wanting to call her Urza, but it's not Urza. And I think the reason why there's that translation where her name's like Mommy is because she's like the motherly figure of the group. So he's doing the Dire Fist, Secret Art, Heaven and Earth Collapse, which is Dragon Slayer, Secret Art. Again, another move of Natsu's. So they save the day. And they're having a celebration, having their pizza, and having a grand old time. And then at this point, which I don't know how the hell this happened, because throughout the whole volume here, her eye's covered, but now she has her eye back. Maybe because they defeated Guru Elf, she was able to reclaim her eye. I don't know. Many years, it seems like 10, 15 years ago that he took her eye, so how the fuck is it still working? With Urza, they use magic to fix it, so it makes sense. But here, I don't know. It was still a fun read, and it was cool seeing all the characters. And, you know, people hate these cliches about, like, you know, when they make the funny faces or whatever, or the fan service. But I love all that, and it's hilarious. I was cracking up reading this, and maybe because I just love Mashima's artwork so much and his stories that I guess I'm a Mashima shill. But I enjoyed the book. This is some afterwards stuff from his staff doing, you know, artwork and whatnot. Now we get some of the sexy ladies, of course. And he just mentions that this was a short-term serial that he's working on in the meantime, and to buy Fairy Tail. But yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit. You know, a fun cast of characters. Stay tuned for my review of Volume 2. I'll talk more about like my overall thoughts on it there. But basically, you know, it's only 2 volumes. It was a fun read, but I feel like it would have more emotional impact and, you know, it'd be more memorable if it was a bit longer. But I understand it was just sort of something for him to do as he was working on Fairy Tail as well, and I enjoyed it. So let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. These are not in print anymore, so you'll have to look on eBay. You might be able to find one at Barnes & Noble or something, but I was lucky in finding both of these, but they're no longer in print. Who published them? I think it's Kodansha. Yeah, Kodansha published them, but they're no longer in print. So good luck if you want to find one. But I would recommend it if you're a Mashima fan. And then, of course, stay tuned for my review of Volume 2. Although next week I'm going to post my review of Burn the Witch from Tite Kubo. So stay tuned for that. And, you know, stay tuned for all my reviews throughout the rest of Halloween month. So thanks for watching, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and we'll talk to you later.